It's October, the month of horror, and while I'm personally not a big fan of the newer horror movies, I do like the classic black and white horror movies. And that's why I purchased this set of 50 classic horror movies. And I've been going through this month and watching them. And today we're going to be reviewing The Invisible Ghost. First off, I want to say, by the way, this movie actually has nothing to do with Ghost. Just gonna warn you. But hey, it was a really fun movie. And it still had like ghost-like element to it. Basically what happens is, there's this man who owns this house that has all these murders happening at them. And people ask him why he refuses to leave. And he explains how it's because he's waiting for his wife to come back. She left him and he's just assuming she's gonna come back. Not realizing that what's actually happening in this is that the wife does come back, and she comes to see him, but she doesn't say anything. She just look at him through the window. But every single time he sees her, he gets put in this trance where his one thought is kill, kill. So this really kind man is going around and killing his housing staff, these people, and not realizing that it's him. And he's trying to do everything to solve this. One of the first murders to be seen in the movie, his daughter's fiance gets blamed for it, and he does everything in his power to try to stop the man from getting executed because, in his opinion, he's innocent. And the man is innocent, but he doesn't realize the reason why he's innocent is because the owner of this house is actually the killer. So you follow the story where you're trying to just figure out what's happening, but then very quickly you realize he's killing these people. But at first you just think, oh, he's a bad person, but then you realize, no, he's a really generous person. A new cook comes in, and he's like so generous. He wants to make sure that the person understands that she's not in danger, that he loves her cooking no matter if she makes mistakes. Like a very kind person. He's like very generous, very nice. But every single time he sees his wife again, it's like, boom, he goes into kill mode, and he just kills these people. And you have the authorities trying to solve this, not realizing to the very end when she shows up again and he sees her, and they see him see her. And they realize, oh my goodness, he's the killer. And it's a really sad story because it ends with him being arrested. And he just says, finally I'm going to be with my wife again. Not realizing that this whole time, his wife kept coming back, and she was the reason that he kept killing. Very tragic, but very simple story. As I was said in the previous videos on this, all these movies are only like an hour long. So they're very simple, very quick movies, but very, very fun. They're very like thrilling in their own ways. They're not like these new horror movies which are all about scares, all blood and gore and all that. This is just mysterious and like spooky, and it's in a good way, in my opinion. I think, as I mentioned in the previous video, I think it's somewhat because of the black and white that makes it even more spooky. It's like there's something uneasy about, as people who live in nowadays where you have colored, that the unperfected like black and white, where like these costumes and the screen is just not perfect. It's not like the film is just crystal clear in 4K. Because of that, it makes it, in my opinion, more spooky. Just like how one of the most common things nowadays is the found footage film horror movies, where it's the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that, where it's like it's not on really high quality, and because it's not on high quality, it makes it more spooky. So in my opinion, that's one of the reasons that I feel like these are more spooky and better than the new stuff. But yeah, for the most part, I would say this is a really fun movie. If you're looking for a movie that has to do with a ghost, it doesn't actually have to do with ghost. Though I think what it's talking about there is that the wife is kind of like the ghost. Like no one else sees her until the end, and no one knows that she's actually alive. Besides one person knows, two people know she's alive because they're keeping her safe. But there's this whole just tragedy of like this man who loves these people and not killing them because he just doesn't have control. And the movie, as I've talked about before in previous videos, all these movies don't have this long ending to them. This is what happens in the end. The movie ends. There's no deal of time spent on it. It's just they figure out who he is. He had tried to attack someone. The wife dies. He gets broken out of the spell. He's like, who did you figure out who the killer was? And like, yes, you were. And he's like, oh, okay. He goes downstairs. He looks at the portrait of his wife and says, finally we can be together. Movie just ends. Just simple, to the point. Yeah, there's no like trial, no death of him. There's nothing that make it keep going. It's just, this is what happens in the story. It ends. Enjoy yourself. Movies just back then were more entertaining. They weren't pushing messages. They weren't trying to keep on going too long. And because of that, it's just such a fun thing that you just watch. You sit down, you have an app, you watch one of these, and it's just, you get your joy out of it. You get some fun. You get some enjoyable adventure. And I love it. So guys, in my opinion, I would definitely recommend checking this one out. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Movie Night Review. Peter Weary, signing off.